Welcome back to another video here from Media Lab. I am here with Arden. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing all right, except with all these flies that are around us here. That's an inside joke that no one's going to get. We have three topics that we want to discuss that is on this card here. Number one, I thought we'd start off by just discussing a little bit about some of the best podcasts out there that are for like learning or discovery, something in your field or just something that you find fascinating. So I'll let you go first. What's your favorite podcast to like learn or discover something from?
Sure. When I was in university, I did a minor in marketing, and there's a podcast called Under the Influence with Terry O'Reilly. It's a CBC podcast where he tells stories of marketing successes and failures and all sorts of brands and companies. This morning I was listening to one all about Sleeman, how it had a background in pirates. And so they were pirates and they would run ships into the ground and then they would loot them. And then they stopped doing that, tried to start a legitimate business, and then the police came after them and shut them down and gave them a 50-year ban on brewing beer. 50 years later, they came back and now are a successful brand again. So
it's a long con. Just wait 50 years. And
yeah,
their beer company
50 years
again.
They kept that recipe a secret. But yeah, Under the Influence with Terry O'Reilly. He's a long-running ad man, so he has serious experience, and he has a big research team that helps him out and tells some really crazy stories about brands that you already know.
Yeah, Terry O'Reilly, it's a great program. CBC, for maybe the non-Canadian people out there, is the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, which is funded by our Canadian taxpayer dollars, but does produce some legitimately great content. I think they do really great podcasts. So definitely check that out if you haven't done so already. I am going to recommend, especially if you are watching this in Alberta, but even if you're a filmmaker anywhere, there is the Alberta Filmmakers podcast that you can listen to. This is me being a little bit selfish because I was a guest on that podcast. Actually, you were a guest on that podcast too.
Yeah. Shameless
plug for both of us. But what's great is that they're talking to people that are in the industry, actually in the film industry, and talking about things like heads of studios or actors or script writers, and just getting an overall sense of what it's like to be that kind of creative person here in the province of Alberta. You sometimes think that it's just westerns or something like that gets made here in the province, but it's like there's so much varied content that's going on. So I really like them, and everyone should go and check that out. My second thing I dropped my card here on the floor. But the second thing I wanted to talk about, this is more of a news story. This is kind of hot off the presses. Not so much probably when you're watching this video, but Mark Zuckerberg in this announcement the other day is telling people that video chat is coming to Instagram. Here's his exact quote. This is obviously him fresh from him looking like a human in front of the Senate committee, but him saying, people use live video to just hang out. That was his exact quote. And so he wants to bring that feeling to Instagram.
I don't do that. Do you do that?
Not really.
No?
Hey man, we're just going to hang out, say nothing for the next 2 hours. Good chat.
Does this count?
Yeah, this is our video chat that we have with each other. There's a couple things I want to pull out of here because it is interesting how much Instagram has really pivoted into being kind of at the forefront of video, even though it's kind of stolen some of the ideas it's had. But I mean, I remember when Instagram first came out, and first it was only photos they allowed on the platform. Secondly, then they went after stories, the Instagram stories, which is really just a ripoff of the Snapchat feed. And this is something that also Snapchat has had for a while in their messaging service that now Instagram is taking as well. So it looks like it's just copying Snapchat, but being more popular with it. I don't know what your initial thoughts are.
I don't know if people are really going to use it to hang out. It seems like so many of these platforms are offering really the same thing in many ways.
Yeah.
So it kind of comes back to what do you prefer, right? So you can post your photos to Instagram or Facebook or Twitter if you want. And so they're covering all the same bases, really, which in some ways helps to, some people prefer Facebook or they don't like Instagram or they don't even have Instagram. And so maybe they're going to start using that video chat feature because they're already on Messenger with certain people. And some people even use Messenger like as a replacement for SMS if you're between Android and iOS. Lots of people already use Messenger as their full-time messaging app.
Yeah, it's true.
So then they might use it to replace Google Hangout sort of thing or Skype. I don't even use Skype.
No, well, I do it because I have to for certain things, but it's not my preferred method of communication.
No.
Yeah, it's interesting how like all these platforms are really starting to look very similar, or at least offering the exact same features. So it does just come down to like which one do you like the best? Where are the most people actually on it? But I think you actually said that very smart thing. I think that this may be not necessarily something that they're intentionally going after Snapchat or even cannibalizing the messaging service that Facebook already has. It might be a play towards Google. Because I mean, Facebook and Google have been circling each other now for a while. Facebook really wants to become that next great video platform for people, and they absolutely have not really nailed that, I don't think.
Google has that on lock.
But Google has that on lock, but this might be a little four-way into that. If people are already using Instagram now to hang out, then they can start to layer on other services.
That'll increase your screen time, definitely, when it comes to Instagram.
Facebook just wants you to stay on Facebook/Instagram. They do not want you to leave their platform for very long. So here's the last thing. Arden, who are you?
Hey.
And why are you here? Get out of my house.
I asked myself the same question.
Yeah, exactly.
My name is Arden Shibley, and I am a Canadian drone pilot. So film, television, commercials, we fly drones. So for the month of May, I'll be here at Media Lab a lot more, just helping out whoever's coming in, saying hello, networking, and working on some of my own stuff on the gear that's here.
What got you into drones? Like, what was it that said, yes, this is where I want to make my mark?
Initially, it was photography, actually.
Oh, wow.
So we worked as photographers for weddings and for companies, families, that sort of thing. And we said it would be really cool to maybe take a drone on a photo shoot, which is really not that good of an idea. They're just loud. They sound like an angry swarm of bees. And so, and just people don't look great when they're like this, you know? So we got the drone and we said, well, we can't really do anything with it without an SFOC from Transport Canada, which lets you fly in areas like the north half of Calgary where there's an airport. We got an SOC and started working on film sets because I had a background in that during university, and it sort of expanded from there. So since we've expanded to multiple Inspire 2 drones, we shoot 4K ProRes footage that matches frequently to like Arri Alexas and Red Dragon cameras. So
that's cool.
Full production.
And you are starting to do more like vlogging, talking to the camera type stuff?
Yes, that too. So about a month ago, I filmed my first vlog, and mostly drone related stuff. So we're talking about some of the gear, some of the techniques, things that I've learned, and hopefully continuing on that track. So if you have a drone, if you thought about getting one, or if you're, I don't know, trying not to crash it really, or want to know more about the professional level systems.
How about all I want to do is crash it?
There's a small drone for you. It's
okay, great.
Yeah, $30 I think, and you can just run into the wall all day.
Great.
Yeah.
It'll come up here on the screen regardless, but how can people find you on the internet if they want to?
We're at yellowhouseaerial.ca, on Twitter at AskYellowhouse, and on YouTube, I think you just have to search for it because we haven't reached the subscriber limit, but you can help us get there.
Absolutely. And then Media Lab YYC is how you can find me anywhere else on the internet. I got that on lock, so that's great.
Perfect. That's you. Put it against YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah, that's me. All right, until we see each other again, this has been a Media Lab video.